Your pizza box here. Can you tell me what the letters are? Tell me what the letters are. No, close the box. Tell me what the letters are. What letter is that? What letter is this right here? R. E. What's the next one?
We sailed on board with mics in hand to holy fools upon the strand.
What is that?
A rabbi wise,
what letter is that?
Scout, both prone to sing,
what is it?
Prone to shout.
Is that A? What is that?
What the Frock is going on here, we may not know, but still we cheer. Raise your voice, your glass, your brow, because the Frock is happening now.
Good morning, America. How are you? I am Rabbi Dave, and I love pizza.
Okay, good morning, America. I am Friar Rod, and yeah, I really like pizza.
I've been kind of pissy about it for the last, year and a half. My son, whom I love, will only eat Little Caesars.
I'm so sorry.
And Little Caesars, look, there's an old saying about pizza. There's no such thing as bad pizza. It's like sex. There's no such thing as bad sex. There's just, degrees of how good it is.
Mm-hmm.
Little Caesars pushes that to the envelope.
Yeah.
Although I will give them credit because they recently added what you call old world pepperoni to their menu.
Okay.
So, okay, we're getting better, but not great. There is a great deal of discussion about Pizza Hut coming back.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
So
they were one of my favorites.
Everybody loved Pizza Hut. But did we love the pizza or did we love the hut?
I don't know.
Because I don't remember the pizza being...
I loved their deep dish. There was the first deep dish I remember having. Yeah. And it's the crispy, crunchy, oily crust.
Ben used to love we called them Target pizzas, but in California, Target has a Pizza Hut thing in there, and they would do the personal pan pizzas.
Oh, yeah. I used to get this for lunch.
Yeah. But then up here, they don't have that. So he has become addicted to Little Caesars, which irritates me because Little Caesars, as I said, not my favorite.
Domino's has come a long way.
Domino's has improved markedly. Although I will say this to Little Caesars, if you're listening, for the right amount of compensation, I would be happy to tell the world how great Little Caesars pizza is. That said, I found a video last night. I've been going through files and finding stuff and trying to organize stuff, and I found a video of him when he was just learning his letters.
Mm-hmm.
And he's reading the letters on a pizza box, and I did note that the pizza box was dun 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 Little Caesars.
Oh, pizza.
Which he thinks is hysterical, but I do not. Why do I bring up pizza today?
Why do you, Dave?
Have you ever heard of this thing called the pizza effect?
No.
The pizza effect is this idea that something that is not normal becomes sacrosanct within a society. For example, if you want the best pizza in the world, where do you go?
Well, nationally, you would probably say something like...
In the world.
In the world?
Yes.
New York, isn't it?
Yes, but most people would guess Italy because most people would not have read the notes for the show. But yeah,
well,
most people would go to Italy thinking...
The notes didn't say anything about New York.
Right. Boy, did that cause an argument the other day. Is it New York, Chicago, or somewhere else? Well, it's New York.
I like Chicago pizza style, too.
Style pizza is great. Detroit style is great, but New York has the best.
Yeah. From what I hear, I've never.
I'll tell you what I hate around here is you cannot buy a slice of pizza anywhere.
Costco?
Yeah, you could go to Costco, but now we're back to the Little Caesars debate. I mean, all you can get is their pepperoni, and it's not the old world pepperoni.
Okay.
Or cheese. You can't get anything else.
For a slice, yeah, you can't.
You can't. Anyway.
Why would you when you have the hot dogs, right?
This is also true. Most people would have guessed Italy because pizza, Italian, blah, 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 right?
Sure, okay.
Pizza effect is the idea that something in a society becomes associated with that society, even though it doesn't actually belong there. Pizza is not a national Italian dish.
It's
never
not.
has been. It was invented by Italians as flatbread, brought to America where it was turned into what we call pizza today, and then re-imported back to Italy where now they claim that they have the best pizza, right?
Okay. Well,
Italian immigrants brought this basic concept to the United States, particularly New York and Chicago, where the dish evolved, and then it was re-imported back to Italy. When they started going back to Italy, they were looking for the legendary Italian pizzas, not finding them. So there you go. This really came to my focus because of the movie. Oh God, is it Spectre?
Wait. Are you saying that pizza isn't on the Mediterranean diet?
No, it's not.
Oh, darn it!
This
That just
came
screwed
to
up
my
my diet,
attention
man.
because of the movie Spectre, the James Bond movie,
Yeah.
which opens with a scene in Mexico. Do you remember this? In the Day of the Dead parade and the skeletons and all that?
Yes. Yeah.
Remember all that? That never actually happened in Mexico before this film.
Really?
Mexico paid Sony something like $20 million for that 8-minute scene to create it. They hired 1,500 extras. They created this entire Day of the Dead parade thing.
Okay.
Where most of the celebrations in Mexico before that time were very quiet, very family-oriented, that kind of stuff. But they've turned this film...
Well, except for the sledgehammers with was it the gunpowder on the end?
That wasn't in Mexico, was it? That was.
Is it?
That's some other South America.
That was Mexico. Oh, sorry.
Wherever it was, but the bottom line is that
look
wasn't
that
on the
up
Day
now.
of the Dead anyway, so...
It could be if it's a made-up holiday.
Could be. So Mexico's government lobbied hard for this. Leaked Sony emails show that officials offered up to $20 million in tax incentives for 4 minutes of positive portrayal. So they made script changes. They created that entire scene of that Day of the Dead parade, which now has become a problem because the tourism authorities in Mexico started panicking because now all of a sudden people are going to come to Mexico expecting to see this parade, and there ain't one. Right? So what did they do? In October of 2016, the Mexican government spent $500,000, hired 650 volunteers, built dozens of floats and a giant skeleton marionettes, and staged the first real Dia de la Muertos parade in Mexican history. 250,000 people showed up for this thing, and 10 years later, it still draws millions of people to the parade, which they didn't have before this movie. And this is what is known as the pizza effect.
Okay.
Okay? So you have this idea where that's assigned to a society, and it then becomes sacrosanct in that society because, well...
Art.
Yeah, whatever.
In this case.
So you're changing reality through pizza, in effect, is what you're doing.
Yeah.
Pizza was not an Italian dish per se. Flatbread was, I'll give you that. But flatbread, for those of us that have ever had it, is not pizza. It's just not. I'm sorry. We can have the discussion, or we can have that debate all day some other time, but it's not pizza.
Now I kind of want to know what other things are attributed to Italy that aren't true.
Well, not just Italy, but, hamburgers and hot dogs and, spaghetti. I mean, is the way we eat pasta here in America the way
Oh, no.
Italy eats? No. Hamburgers come from Hamburger, Germany? No, they do not.
French fries from France?
You mean freedom fries, of course. So what else changes society?
Darkness French.
What I now refer to as changing society through pizza. And
The pizza effect.
the pizza effect. But it applies to so much more than this. We used to call this, in a way, it's kind of a gaslighting kind of thing. We kind of forced Mexico to have this parade, this celebration, by putting it in a movie that was completely fictional. We made them say, well, if our tourists are going to come to Mexico,
They're going to want to see
they're
it.
going to want to see this parade. So you will do this.
Well, God bless capitalism.
Well, and we sort of did the same thing to Italy. If you want credit for this delicious stuff that, there is no bad pizza, then you better get on it and start, making your version of it, because people are going to come here expecting the world's best pizza.
Even the Pizza Hut cameo that was in Back to the Future 2, right? That was great. The little dinky thing that shrinks up to this nice hot Pizza Hut.
Do you remember
That was so good.
Do you remember the Russian Pizza Hut ads?
No.
Right after the fall of the Soviet Union, was it Boris Yeltsin? I think was doing Pizza Hut ads.
That's hilarious.
Google that sometime. So what about when we translate this into politics?
Okay.
This idea that something may or may not exist, but then we sort of assign it to someone, and we say, okay, that person is this. In a way, you could look at Trump derangement syndrome in this same vein. Trump derangement syndrome did not exist until he announced he was running for president as a Republican.
Yeah.
I still maintain that if he walks down those stairs and says, I'm running on the Democrat ticket, you get none of this.
Oh, yeah.
I say that because, and we're going to talk about this in the next segment, there's a great example of this week, daylight savings time.
Oh, okay.
Trump came out and made an off-the-cuff remark about daylight savings time. And I don't know about California, but up here you would have thought he dropped an atomic bomb on some unsuspecting country somewhere.
I don't recall seeing anything in the media here.
It was great. But these political games become, arguably, they become pizza effect. And where I have seen this week is, it has nothing to do with me. This guy has no chance of being elected, not even in the People's Democratic Republic of Maine, which is very similar to Massachusetts because it used to be part of Massachusetts. It is a leftist, liberal enclave that has running in its primary a guy by the name of Graham Plattner. You heard of this guy?
Name sounds familiar.
Exactly, because he's flitting about in the news like pizza, but he's just sort of starting to coalesce. Now, Graham Plattner has some issues, and I'm not saying this because I'm not a Democrat. I'm saying this because Graham Plattner has issues. The starting issue that Graham Plattner has. Now, remember how the argument over Pete Hegseth's tattoo, that whole argument, and it's debatable whether the symbol on his chest tattoo is or is not Nazi, and it really depends on if you decide that he's a Nazi, well, then it's Nazi, and if you're Christian, it's not. This guy, Graham Plattner, has an actual Nazi tattoo on his chest.
A swastika?
An actual Nazi tattoo, yes.
Dang.
He is former Army, or Marines, I guess. He served overseas and blah, 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 blah. But he is anti-Semitic, anti-everything, and he is problematic on a level that I'm not sure the Democrats even know what to do with this guy. Because the problem they have is the pizza effect.
Yeah.
The problem is they have this big tent where they say they welcome all kinds of views that are not Republican, which means that anybody that has a view that is not Republican gets to run as a Democrat.
Sure.
With me here?
I am.
This guy is, there's a technical term for it. What is that technical? Oh, yeah, batshit crazy.
Okay.
But
We've had a few of those on the California ticket.
So this week, the Wall Street Journal decided, I guess, to dive into this guy. And what they discovered is, I don't want to call it appalling, but it's not surprising. Mm-hmm. It turns out that he's been married for, 17, 18 years, but he was cheating on his wife almost immediately.
Okay.
And she knew about it. His wife knew about it. He was involved in something, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing this right. It's spelled K-I-K dot. Not dot as in period, but dot as in that, ball thing that you have for lists and stuff. So I don't know if it's kick or kai. I don't know. I don't know how it's pronounced, but it's apparently a Tinder-like website for people who enjoy, let's just say, an alternative lifestyle that involves violent psychosexual type stuff.
Okay. BDSM stuff.
And he's on there. I would say this goes beyond BDSM stuff. This is creepy.
Kink, really bad kink.
That may be how it's pronounced. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the Wall Street Journal found his profile with his pictures on it, so he can't say it ain't me. And
look at my tattoos.
Right. So there's that. There are other problems with this guy, with his anti-Semitism, with his other stuff, and he wants to be a United States Senator from Maine. Can you imagine a clown like this in the United States Senate? First off, you have to wonder if the Senate would even seat him, because they have options in their rules to say, no, no, go home. Now, whether that would work or not, because...
Well, so would the Republicans be like, oh, we're not going to... Yeah, we'll seat him. We'll let you seat him. But Democrats are going to be, no, we don't want him in our party.
What if it's 50-50
it comes down
and it comes down to him.
To J.D. Vance.
Right. So there's all kinds of questions here. Well, of course, this week after this,
so it goes to JD, and JD's like, wink, wink, nod, nod. You're going to vote for us on some key things, right? Yeah. Okay. You're seated.
Like that hasn't been done before. When the 13th Amendment passed the House, it passed by 7 votes because 8 Democrats, quote, didn't vote, unquote. Which was, I'm not saying the 13th Amendment shouldn't have passed. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there were some shenanigans there. So, back to this guy, the Wall Street Journal thing comes out. So, all of this happens. Mm-hmm. And this guy's in the news, and of course he's denying everything. Not just denying it, not denying, but deflecting, I guess, is the better way to put it.
Okay, yeah.
He's not, it's almost like, so,
and your point?
Then he does this, and this is where I get into this pizza effect thing, where we start changing reality. Okay?
All right.
So let's say you're this candidate. You've been married for 17 years to this woman who knew that you were cheating. And in fact, as it turns out, this wife is the woman who leaked, quote unquote, the text messages where he was cheating on her to his campaign staff, saying, you got a problem here.
Yeah. Okay. She's still married to him?
Yes.
What?
Not only are they still married, Rod, but the big news this morning is, yesterday, he trundles her out for like a 5-8 minute video on social media, talking about how much she loves him and how much she's certain that he'll be a great senator, and how people just need to not worry about their relationship and so forth and so on. And the reaction to this has been, well, it's been the pizza effect.
Well, what does she get out of this? Because
I have no idea.
I mean, hopefully he's taking his aggressions out with other people.
Right. He's a veteran, her. So if she divorces him, she gets half of his retirement or whatever. Yeah. But I don't think he retired, so I don't know.
She's waiting until he becomes a politician, because then she could divorce and get half of that, too.
Right. Theoretically. I read somewhere where he's a 100% disabled veteran, but he works as an oyster fisherman or something. It's like, well, that's helping the rest of us, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Makes the rest feel really good. Anyway, so the reaction to this, you would expect to be what? Where would you expect the reaction to this video to be?
Okay, where does he stand on Donald Trump? That'll tell me where the reaction's going to go.
Absolutely hates Donald Trump.
Okay, well, so the left is kind of in this quandary, right? Because he kind of represents everything that they've said Trump is, the Nazi, and he's the bigot, and he's all this other stuff, but he's now in their party. So I don't know.
Yeah. So the reaction, of course, has been
mixed.
But primarily it's been, ooh, what a real badass. You send your wife out to make excuses for you on video, on social media, instead of standing up and saying, yeah, I have an account on Kink, and I'm a weird ass dude. You send your wife out that you've cheated on, and that basically turned you in for all this. And
so he's looking for empathy.
Exactly. Now, the pizza effect question comes in: is he going to get that empathy? Or is the Democrat Party, which released its autopsy this week on the 2024 election, which is also hysterical, finally going to come to its head and go, you know what? You're not one of us. Sorry. You are a bridge too far. No, we're not doing
well, but I mean, look at the votes he's going to take away from the Democratic Party, right? It's not going to be their tried and true.
You think that would? See,
unless they have a jungle primary like we have in California, where who knows?
I'm convinced that you'd have the same issue here, okay? Which is that so much hatred, absolute visceral hatred exists, that people that can't tell you Trump's first name would literally vote for a salamander because it's not Trump.
They would vote for a Nazi.
Because it's not Trump. And you can kind of see that in our two senators, but you know, that's neither here nor there. But I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know if the pizza effect is going to take place in Maine and they're going to go, yes, we embrace this now. Or are they going to come to their senses and go, are they going to go Washington Nationals on this guy? Saw that story, right?
No.
So the Washington Nationals have and I don't even start watching the standings for baseball until after July 4th, so I couldn't even tell you where the Nats are. I don't even know.
Okay.
I've watched a couple of games. I don't care. Until July 4th, the standings don't even really matter. Okay? So don't ask me how the Nationals are doing. For all I know, they're doing great. For all I know, they're not doing great at all. They might be mediocre. But they have a player who is Roman Catholic and devoutly Catholic.
Okay.
And they had an executive on their team who does not play the game who was devoutly anti-Catholic or anti-conservative anyway. And so this guy got caught on camera admitting that he intentionally leaves this guy out of stuff and doesn't promote this guy and doesn't do things for this guy because of his Roman Catholic views.
Huh. Okay. That doesn't seem quite legal.
Well, today he's out of a job, so.
Yeah.
Because even the Washington Nationals went, yeah, we're not pizza affecting that. No.
Yeah.
Look, this guy's on the field. He wins games for us, which puts butts in the seats, which sells tickets and merchandise. Yeah. You are a geek. You do not make us any money, so guess what?
Yeah.
So they fired his ass. So he's gone.
Replaced him with AI.
I mean, you just about could. It's I don't. There's so much stuff on AI now on social media that's just AI anyway that it makes you wonder.
Pretty much. Yeah.
So I don't know. So there's this pizza effect. I don't know how it's going to affect the politics in Maine, but I'm curious now as I start looking at other political things. You know, we had to take Trump's name off the Kennedy Center.
I heard that, yeah.
Why was Trump's name on the Kennedy Center to begin with?
I don't know.
See, this is classic Trump here. You're so focused on getting Trump's name off the Kennedy Center that you're not paying any attention to what he's doing.
No.
This is Obama 101.
Yeah.
Obama played us like a fiddle with this whole birth certificate thing.
Yes.
We spent so long chasing our tails about the birth certificate thing and not focusing on what he was actually doing that because we had this weird, stupid belief that if we could just prove that birth certificate thing, then none of the rest of it will matter.
It's all unconstitutional.
How did that work out for us?
I'm still waiting.
And we still will be. Welcome back. I'm Dave.
I'm Rod.
So I mentioned in the first segment the daylight savings time thing.
Yeah. What's up with that?
Where do you stand on daylight savings time?
I wish it would just stop changing. If it's going to be permanent daylight savings time, I'm fine with that. I don't care. I don't care if it's like super dark in the winter where I have to get up and because it's always dark anyway.
So there was an article yesterday about Bainbridge Island, which is part of our county here. And I guess some yuppie couple from California asked the question about why should we move to Bainbridge Island? And this took off on social media. I didn't actually see it, but I did read the article, and it was talking about how the responses they were getting and the mixed responses they were getting. And one of the things that people who live on Bainbridge Island complain about, number one, that they're part of Kitsap County and not Seattle, even though they have a Seattle area code. They think
I thought they were going to complain about Californians moving up there.
Bainbridge Island is, they don't mind that at all.
Okay.
Bainbridge would never mind that. Bainbridge is a leftist liberal enclave. Let me put it this way.
Yeah.
There are only two ways to get onto Bainbridge Island. You either take the ferry from Seattle or one, and I do mean one, 2-lane bridge. That's it. Go look at a map, see how big this island is. So they got 25,000 people out there who don't want to be part of Kitsap County, but because the average income out there, the average house cost is like $2 million, Kitsap County is like, yeah, we can't let that tax base go. So
no.
And
sorry,
they hate us, and we don't really like them. And it's weird because all the service people live over here and have to drive onto Bainbridge to serve the people over there through that one 2-lane bridge, which, by the way, is right next to the massive Indian casino. Anyway, it's kind of, they start all.
Is that the casino you go to?
No, it is not.
Okay.
My wife doesn't like that casino because, quote, the machines are too tight. I personally think the food's better, but that's my own opinion. But I don't even remember what I was going to say. So but one of the things this article mentioned was the people there hate it when it's not daylight savings time because it's very dark. And I will give you this. Driving on Bainbridge Island is, other than the main road, 305, every road is like this forested in. It's like driving in a tunnel. It really is. And I don't even like that. But during non-daylight savings time, it gets dark out there, and you can't see it. When you're trying to deliver stuff, it's like nobody puts addresses on anything.
During daylight savings time?
During non-daylight savings time, when you shift wintertime. Okay. So it gets dark out there. And they were all complaining about the darkness. The Bainbridge Island people are complaining about the darkness. But the problem they have is that Donald Trump came out and said, okay, let's just go on permanent daylight savings time.
Yeah.
Which immediately set up a firestorm up here, because if you had asked anybody 24 hours before that, what do you want to do? They would have all said, well, let's just go to permanent daylight savings time.
Yeah.
As soon as Trump comes out and says it, every social media page board up here is like, oh my God, Trump is for this. We have to be against that. Now we have to be for standard time. I am not making this up. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So Trump backs off it and says, well, I don't really care which it is. Let's just stop with the change. Right?
That's just what I said, right?
And then the boards became, oh, well, let's keep the change. Because Trump's for it. I'm not making this. And I should have screenshotted it because it's all been deleted now because it's so ridiculous. But it was like, oh my God, you people are just, and of course people are pointing out the fact that, look, you don't care. You just hate Trump. If Trump came out and said cancer was bad, you'd be in the streets of Winslow, downtown Bainbridge, with signs saying, go cancer.
Yeah.
It was hysterical.
He should do that. He should come out and say cancer's really bad and we're going to fight it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, didn't Biden promise us that he was going to cure it?
Well, yeah, but...
By the way, I thought he was dying of stage 5 cancer or something.
He's dying of the same cancer that Scott Adams died from.
Right, but weren't we told he was like on his deathbed or something?
I thought so.
And now he's out giving speeches. Well, he's out reading the teleprompter, or trying to anyway. Oh, my God. That was, and then, of course, Joe Biden this week. Jill. Dr. Jill.
Yeah.
You should miss that story. Remember the debate between Trump and Biden?
How could you forget?
I don't know how you could have forgotten it. I don't watch debates, and I watched that one. It's just because...
You knew what was going to happen. It was like watching a train wreck.
It literally was. It was like watching a car race just for the wrecks. I mean, you just wanted to see, okay, which turn is he going to... And I thought, for the life of me, I thought that Donald Trump really reined himself in. He pointed it out, but he didn't jump on it. I mean, he didn't...
That was because I think one of the debates prior to, he was off the rails, and people, I think they polled and they didn't like him being that aggressive.
At any rate, as you will recall, Joe did not do well in this debate. But after the debate, Dr. Jill Biden, because she's a doctor, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Announced to the world that Joe knew all the answers and that Trump just lied and blah, 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 blah. Well, now she has a book out.
Of course.
Did you know that? She's written a book. This is her third book that she's written, and this is more about her time in the White House. The other two, I guess, were children's books. This one now is a book. And she went on The View to promote this book.
Because that's what you do.
And it turns out that she says now that during the debate she thought that the president, Biden, was having a stroke. And she was deeply concerned. And so because she was so deeply concerned about the love of her life, the man whom she basically worships, as a doctor, she did absolutely nothing when she thought he was having a stroke on the stage. She just stood there.
But she's not a medical doctor, though.
What? Are you sure about that?
I'm fairly certain. I thought she was like a
No, there was a major newspaper that said she should be the Surgeon General.
Nah, well, I mean, anybody could be the Surgeon General, right? You don't have to actually be a doctor.
So, at any rate, of course, this pizza effect has been, you were so concerned that you did absolutely nothing. You completely lied. And now all of a sudden you're whatever. Now all of a sudden you're on board with this. Now all of a sudden you're, oh my God, I thought he was having a stroke. And yet you still pushed for him to be running.
Yeah. It's an ED, an ed doctorate is what it is. So she's got a doctorate in education.
Right, she's a doctor.
Yeah. Well, so
she could have done something.
So are we.
I get that. If I thought the president of the United States was having a stroke on the stage, do you think I would just stand there and go, way to go, Joe?
I'd yell, give me a CBC and a Chem 7 stat.
Because that's what you do when you're an actual doctor. Which she is not. Welcome back. I'm Dave.
I'm Rod.
As you know, we are AI enthusiasts in the same way that Grant Plattner is an enthusiast for BDSM and grooming.
Okay, I wasn't going to go there, but okay.
Okay, maybe not quite like that, but we do like, I would say I like AI.
It's fun. I
And
enjoy it.
I had a discussion with my son this week. I had the same discussion with Rod. Did you see the thing about the NVIDIA
Yeah.
thing where they're going to pay you to put this thing in your house?
It's like a big, large, refrigerated size data center off the side of your house.
And they're going to pay you $1,000 a month to do this. And I started running the math, and Rod can tell you because I was texting back and forth. I was obsessed with this.
Yeah.
Because I'm always looking for a way to make. There was a time in this life when you could get cell towers put on your property, and they would pay you rent to do cell towers, and that could be quite lucrative if you. Of course, they would always try to tack you down, but you stick to your guns. Look, do you want this tower or not? And there were some good deals to be had. So I'm thinking, well, I wouldn't mind. I mean, I don't mow the back lawn anyway, so
Yeah.
the hell do I care? But I started looking at this $1,000 a month. All these people bitching about how much energy, water, these data centers use. So I started asking that question. And I started looking at this thing. It's going to increase my electrical use by 600% minimum on average.
Yeah.
Could be as high as 900.
And that's 24/7.
Yeah.
So, on peak, off peak, doesn't matter.
So my utility bill, for which they are going to compensate me $1,000, goes from probably an average of $250 to $275 a month to over $1,500 a month based on that usage, which means that the $1,000 they're giving me is basically just cutting into my losses. It's not helping, but it does count as income,
Which you're taxed now.
which I'm taxed on now. So, yeah, I'm not all that excited about this idea. But I will be honest with you, the first one I sent you, I was not impressed with. So I had this discussion with Ben about this.
All right.
I said, Ben, should we do this? Yes or no? I want to hear your thoughts. And of course, his thoughts were absolutely not. And it's why? And it's because he hates AI.
Okay.
And I'm like, dude, that may be that you hate AI, and I get that, but that's not, you're not thinking this through. Well, I have a moral objection to it. Right, okay, you have a moral objection to it, but you don't understand. It's here. It's not going away.
Yeah.
You're going to have to come up with another reason why. And for the record, Ben, I agree with you. We should not do this, but tell me why you think I think we shouldn't do this. And it took close to 20 minutes to get him to understand that because you'll be losing money, which led back to, well, so morally, they're just trying to screw you because they're not going to give you enough money to pay for it. So, well, I guess your moral objections were correct then.
Well, it would probably cost them less in the long run to do it, right? Rather than having to pay for the big, large data centers and the environmental impacts and all that other stuff.
You're screwed.
Yeah.
You're out another $500 a month, but you get to wave the flag going, see, I'm helping.
Well, what's funny is there's a whole other side of these data center things because in a real data center, you have to have fire suppression, right? The whole thing is generating heat. That's why you have to cool them.
Right.
You have to keep them cool. They have to be at a certain temperature. So if you're adding that to your house, how is that all going to work? I haven't seen anything where they talk about fire suppression and what liability there might be if this thing burns up in the middle of the night while you're sleeping.
Well, the one I saw was outdoors. So up here, 9 months out of the year, it's going to be cool and rainy. So how would it affect resale values? Oh, I'm going to sell you this house with a data center in it. Well, yeah, no. Because I don't want the extra liability and the cost. I don't know. I also saw some ones that were very small, like notebook sized. And they were claiming that they were making $22,000 a year on this, but it just doesn't work.
So what they're doing is they're replacing all those crypto mining things with AI. Because crypto miners used to have these big, they had these servers running out 24/7 to mine crypto.
Usually with stolen electricity in California.
Yeah.
Those were stories that were you don't even hear those stories anymore. But you remember those stories about, because they did the same thing with the marijuana grows. Yeah. They would tap into somebody else's electricity to run these things, and it's like, oh, my bill is like $5,000. What's going on here? Oh, the next door neighbor is spliced into your electricity and is doing an illegal marijuana grow. Do I get my money back? No. So, again, I'm pro AI, but I'm also pro it being used as a tool, not necessarily our new overlords. But I am bemused because two of the states that I grew up in, Colorado and Utah, are, what's the word for it, adamant against these things, these data centers, especially Utah. Utah had a proposal to do one up in the Tremont area, which I have been to many times, and I will tell you, you could build a data center there, and it would probably be the most interesting thing there, easily. So it's not like it's not there. There's a lot of controversy because this quote-unquote grassroots opposition to it, including the Mormon Women for the Environment. I think that's what they're called. Which I thought was weird because didn't the Mormon Church come out and say, don't call us Mormons anymore?
I thought. LDS?
So, yeah, they wanted to be called LDS, and so here's this group, Mormon Women for conservation or for the environment or whatever, which turns out to, somebody did some digging, and of course it turns out that these groups opposing this Utah data center are in fact West Taiwanese. Now, why would West Taiwan not want data centers in Utah?
Well, because they have their own.
And they control those.
Yeah.
And if we start building them, well, then that's a problem. So there's all kinds of brouhaha over this whole thing in Utah as to whether or not, number one, should we build a data center, which is a legitimate argument. But number two, have these Mormon women been duped by their Chinese overlords, their communist Chinese overlords in Utah, which is a very politically conservative state? Have they now been duped by the Chinese into doing the Chinese overlords' masters' bidding by opposing this data center in Utah, which is kind of funny and in a very Utah way. Which brings me to our next door neighbor, their next door neighbor, Colorado, which is where I spent most of my time growing up. I would tell you that I love Colorado of the 1970s. Colorado does not, that Colorado no longer exists.
That's California now.
It is miniature California. That's all it is. When I was growing up in Colorado, the drive from Pueblo, Colorado to Denver, Colorado was 2 hours of frontier. You got a little city in Pueblo. You got about an hour to get to Colorado Springs, which is small down. Then you got about an hour to Denver. Castle Rock is in there, Monument's in there, but that's about it. Now it is literally one giant city. It is Los Angeles. From the south side of Pueblo to Fort Collins, it is one big giant city. So it's not like Colorado hasn't had, shall we just call it, explosive growth. Utah, by the way, has become the same thing. I-15 from Orem to Ogden is the same thing. I mean, it's like, good Lord, what the hell happened here? So, people moved in. People from where? Oh, yeah, California.
Pretty much.
So Colorado is making this. I don't know about the state of Colorado, but of course the same suggestions have been made. Let's build some AI data centers out here on the eastern plains of Colorado, which, if you've ever been there, if you've ever been to La Junta or Lamar or any of those places, you will understand is just miles of nothing. It's hard to believe given the Denver metroplex, but there are areas of Colorado that are just blank. I mean, there's just nothing there. Okay, let's build some data centers out here. So the Colorado pages on social media have been posting incessantly. Not 1 inch of Colorado is worth a data center, right?
Yeah.
Which, okay, I get your argument. I don't agree with it, but I get it. But here's the kicker of this whole thing. They're using AI, ChatGPT AI graphics to say, not 1 inch, to draw a picture of Colorado and say, not 1 inch.
It's so easy, and it's such a good quality now.
Well, these aren't even the good quality ones. These are the
really?
cartoon ones, yeah.
Oh, no.
And it's like, and they've gotten to the point now where the people pointing it out, like, okay, you are posting that you don't want AI by using AI to do your post.
Yeah.
They've gotten to the point now where they've blocked the people that are telling them that. Because you want to talk about a pizza effect, because instead of going, oh, hell, you're right, I could just drive out to La Junta.
Yeah.
Who wants to take a picture of it? I could go on Google Earth.
Yeah.
And
Google Earth.
steal a picture from it. But no, I'd rather use ChatGPT to produce an AI version of a protest sign saying no AI here. It's like,
so we've trained AI that we hate them. That's why they're going to take us over.
well, that's a real question, isn't it? Because if we've spent all this time telling them how much, and AI is listening to us right now, AI, what the fuck, we love you.
We do.
But the rest of these people, well, you know what they said in the Hitchhiker's Guide. They were the first against the wall when the revolution came. Welcome back. I'm Rabbi Dave.
I am Friar Rod.
Speaking of my son, Ben,
Okay.
this is apparently one of those things you learn when you become a parent. I never knew about this before I became a parent. You familiar with Roy G. Biv?
Roy G. Viv?
Biv.
No. Biv.
Roy G. Biv is a acronym for the colors of the rainbow. Red, orange, yellow, blue. What is it? Blue, indigo, violet. I don't know. There's songs about it and everything else.
Okay. No,
And you'll
I didn't
see,
know
you'll see the Roy. They May Be Giants, for God's sake, did a song about Roy G. Biv. Roy G. Biv is a wonderful man. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so the whole thing is, you may notice that there's no purple in Roy G. Biv. The colors of the rainbow: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. There's no.
Yeah, there's no purple.
Do you know why that is?
Well, because I don't know, red and blue are
Because
together.
purple, the color purple, according to this article that I read this week from Popular Mechanics, one of my favorite magazines, does not actually exist.
Okay.
So the Colorado Rockies, who have purple as their main color, doesn't actually exist, which would explain a lot about their playing style. It is a non-spectral color created when your brain compensates for the conflicting signals from red and blue wavelengths hitting your eyes simultaneously. Violet is a real color because it has its own ultraviolet wavelength that your eyes can't see, but your skin will detect as harmful radiation, making it fundamentally different from the illusion purple construct in your brain. So your brain determines color by comparing signal strength differences from 3 different types of cone cells that detect short, medium, long, blah, 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 blah.
Unless you're colorblind.
Yeah, up to a... There's always an exception, isn't there? Allowing you to perceive up to... You don't need to be color... You can be colorblind and still listen. Jesus.
I can't see the frickin' rainbow. I'm colorblind.
Purple
right?
is not real.
Dogs can't see purple either.
Despite what you may have come to believe, violet is not purple.
No.
In fact, violet, along with the rest of the colors in the natural occurring rainbow, which is something purple does not do, has its own wavelength of light. Anyone who's ended up with a sunburn knows that violet wavelengths, violet, not violent, which is what you would get if you were running for senator in Maine, are real because they are UV radiation, but you can't see them. So purple does not exist.
So there's no kink in the rainbow?
No, apparently not. There might be. What it does in its own time, I don't know. As long as it doesn't post it on it, as long as it's not married and its wife doesn't turn it in. So I also read this week that consciousness is the only reality there is.
I think, therefore, I am. I don't know.
Well, it was kind of like saying there is no actual computer in front of me. I'm just perceiving that there's a computer in front of me. Rod is not really there. I'm just perceiving that Rod is really there. And I thought to myself, who the hell, how much money are we paying these people to come up with these ideas? And how do I get some of that? Because I can come up with some pretty ridiculous ideas.
It proves the theory, Dave. Birds are not real.
I swear to God, I don't know how these people do this stuff. I really don't. But they do. I can accept that there's no purple because it's science, right? There's no wavelength that matches purple. I don't know how I feel about that. Purple.
So there is no Barney the dinosaur. There is no he's not there.
Well, according to this other guy, he isn't there anyway. It's just a perception that you have. And here's the really bad part about this, Rod. If that's a perception, think about this now. If the only reason you exist is because I'm perceiving you, that means my mind has created this entire universe. I'm it. And everything else, all the rest of you are just figments of my imagination and my consciousness.
A baseball bat to the head could solve that.
Well, I'm not sure how I feel about this idea. On the one hand, it seems a little frightening, doesn't it? What if God isn't real? What if this computer?
I think I'm real, so what if you're not real?
Well, now we're down.
I'm having one hell of a conversation in my mind.
How is my brain coming up with this theory that, okay, Rod is not really real, but now he's going to argue with me that I'm not real, then that he's real.
Yeah.
Talk about a pizza effect. And at the end of the day, I'm still confused. Are the Colorado Rockies really wearing purple? Or maybe they should shift to green. Or maybe, and this is just an idea here, maybe somebody in Colorado could come up with an AI-generated version of the Colorado Rockies because they couldn't do much worse. But they'd need a data center to do that, and we all know how that's going. And on that note, I'm Rabbi Dave.
I am Friar Rod.
And this has been a very pizza-oriented version of
What the Frock?
So grab your frog and come aboard. This nonsense can't be ignored. We joke, we gripe, we spin, we sing. While Rome burns on, we'll do our thing. What the frock is going on here? We may not know, but still we cheer. Raise your voice, your glass, your brow. Because the frock is happening now.